We left off yesterday on Tessamon Bays, Teisha Tziburin. We're going to have a series of cases over here, different halachas. The Gemara is going to go through it. It's like a similar thing, right? But the Gemara is going to give the case regarding chametz and say it's similar to the other case, right? And we have to figure out exactly what the Gemara means. It's not going to be clear even what the halacha is, because the Gemara just said it's analogous to this. Okay, but which one? We'll see. Okay, the first two cases are famous cases. Teisha Tziburin shel matzah v'echad shel chametz. So you have 9 packets of matzah and 1 packet of chametz. Now, obviously, you're not able to tell really which one's matzah, which one's chametz, which is obviously something obvious throughout the Masechta, is that the matzah they had back then wasn't really like our matzah. We've seen a few times that they had like lafas. They had, their matzah, they baked it. It was soft. It wasn't like our hard crackers. We burn it, right? We burn it. So whatever the Ashkenazim have this the hard matzah, so that for sure, quickly you burn it quickly, so that become chametz. But really, they had soft matzah, right? So you have situations where you don't know the difference. Whatever, we'll see. So teisha tibun shel matzah ve'echad shel chametz. Vasa achbar, a mouse came, v'shakal and he took one. He took and didn't know whether. You don't know whether he took the matzah one or the chametz one, right? So now, what do you do? Right, where did he go? He goes into a house, right? The point is, after the achbar takes it, he took one, then he goes into a house, right? So now, could you assume that it was the matzah one? Right, and therefore you don't have to do bedika again. We're assuming it's a house you already did bedika, so therefore I would not have to do bedika. However, we just saw nachbar take one of the packages and bring it to the house. Is that a problem? Is that not a problem? So the Gemara says, "Hanu teisha chanuyis," same exact thing as the case of teisha chanuyis.
You bought it in one store, you don't know if you bought in the tray for the kosher, even though there's 9 kosher.
There's 9 kosher stores and there's 1 tray store.
Say it's not so because it's
right. We'll see. Let's read the case inside. It depends, right? So Gemara says Pirish vasa achbar v'shakal hainu seifa, right? And it's if however, before we get to Teisha, the Gemara says that's the case of Teisha Chanuyis, which we're going to bring in a second. The second case is the achbar only took it after a piece of matzah or chametz already fell off of one of these packages, right? So you have the 10 packages, and somehow 1 piece of bread, whether it's chametz or matzah, fell off. Then the achbar takes it. That's a case of pirish, and the halacha is different. Okay, the Gemara says hainu seifa, and now we're going to see both cases. Ditnan teisha chanuyas. If you have 9 stores, kulam meichrim basar shchuta, they all sell kosher shechted meat. Vas ve'achas mecheres, and then there's a 10th store that's mecheres bas nevela. Okay, v'lokach me'achas mehen. So now you were a little bit dreamy. You wanted to go buy meat, and you didn't realize which store you went into. Right, you leave the store. You have meat in your hand. You're like, which store did I go? Did I go into a kosher store? So what's the halacha? Can you go basarayv? Because you can say, look, 9 out of 10 chances was that I went into a kosher store, right? So can I go basarayv? The halacha is not, right? Suffix is asa. Why? This is the halacha called kavua kemetz al mechzem, because the non-kosher store is kavua in place. It's not something that is sometimes here, sometimes not here. It's floating around. No, it's something that's very much kavua in place. The halachas we learn out from psukim. The svara is sometimes very hard to understand exactly where we do apply this, where we do not apply this, right? But the point is that since it's kavua, we do not say you go basarayv. We say kol kavua kemertz al mertzadami, since you went into the store, and therefore it's kemertz al mertzadami. It's like suffix. It's like 50-50, and therefore it's a suffix deraisa l'chumra regarding the meat. V'nimtza, however, if it was found, if there's a city that sells that there are 10 stores selling meat, 9 are kosher, 1 is not kosher, and you just found meat without you going in there, that's called pirish. It was already pirish. Then we say called it parish, beruba parish.
Why is it came from the store?
It came from a store, but the shaila doesn't come to you when it's kavua. It's not kavua now, because we know it came. We know it probably came from one of the stores, right? But the shaila only comes to you after it's already pirish, and once it's pirish, we say kol kavua kemetz al mechzedam, kol de parish meruba parish, right? And it's the shaila doesn't come in front of you it's not as, we don't look at it as kavua because you didn't go there. You didn't go into the kavua place. It left already before the shaila came up. It was not in the kavua before the shaila came up. It's a tough story to understand. And again, in the Pesachim is a whole siman kufiyut to understand the chilukim and when exactly do you say pirish, do not say pirish. But either way, the Gemara is saying it's analogous to our case by matzah. Our case by matzah, you have 10 packets of bread, 9 are matzah, and 1 is chametz. You go in, right? The achbar went in and took it. So the achbar. If you didn't see the achbar, it's the same thing as a nachbar. You went in. It's pirish. If you didn't see the achbar go, you only notice the achbar after it already had the bread, and then it's going into one of the houses. So then it's this case of pirish. You have to have seen the achbar in order for that to be considered that it's noilad. The suffix was noilad in the kaviyas. It wasn't noilad afterwards because you watched the nachri. Either if you watch the nachri go into one of the stores and bring the meat out, right? So that's the same issue of kavod. You watch the achbar take one of the pieces of chametz, right? So that's also right to the same problem, right? Right, exactly. Pirish, you could assume it goes both so right? But Taisus asks, Hare, why would you, even if it's called kavod k'matzal mechza daming, but still we know b'dikas chametz al midrabanan, right? So it should be suffix lekula. Why is the Gemara saying it's just like a case of not kosher meat, fakir? Right, so Taisus Taka says, maybe it's a case. He answers Rashi, maybe it could be a case where you didn't do bittul. So b'dikas mikar adin, so fine. But Taisus himself wants to say that it's a question of whether you could eat it. Right? We said it's not something that you could tell whether it's chametz or matzah. Right? The achbar comes and takes this piece of bread and brings it into one of the houses. Right? So if you saw the achbar take it, so then it's kavua, called kavua k'mechzal mechzad dami, right? And therefore you can't eat it. You have to get rid of it. You have to assume it's a suffix chametz, suffix matzah. You can't eat it, right? But if you didn't watch, if it was just pirish already, and then the achbar takes it, right? So then you can assume called the pirish merubi pirish, and you can eat it on Pesach. You could assume that it's matzah, not chametz, and in that way it's a dairaisa, right? Right. So that's how Taisus makes sense with the Raisa Dika Shaila, because it's talking about mamish that you could eat it. Okay, that's the first case. The first two cases. Okay, and that's the whole Siman Kuf Yud in your Adaya discusses these halachas. Now Shnei Tziburin, this is Siman Kuf Yud Aleph is the next, also very tough Siman. Shnei Tziburin echad shel matzah v'echad shel chametz. You have two bundles, one matzah, one chametz. V'lifneim shnei batim. And then in front of these two packages are two houses. One is washed. One has already been checked. One has not been checked. You have two mouses, two mice come. Echad shakal matzah, echad shakal chametz. One takes matzah, one takes chametz. We don't know which one took what to which. Right. So do we have to assume the worst? That maybe the chametz was taken to the house that was already checked. It's a suffix, right? The Gemara says no. The Tanan, this is the same case as shtei kupas. The Tanan shtei kupas achas shulchun v'achas truma. If you have two boxes, one of chulun, one of truma, l'fnei shnei sa'an, and in front of them are two se'in of food, so as a measurement, right? Echad shel chulun, echad shel truma. Again, one of these containers have chulun, one of them has truma. So you have two big boxes of one truma, one chulun. You have two containers in front of them, right? One of them, right? They all fell in. Everything fell in now. You don't know what fell into what. Did the truma fall into the chulun? And now the chulun doesn't have enough to be mevatel the truma, so everything's aser, right? Right? So now, do we say that the chulun becomes aser? The worst is mutarim. It's really mutar. She'ani oimer chulun tach chulun aflu u'truma tach truma aflu. There's this assumption that we make where it's called talinon. We're taila lekula. The she'ani oimer, that I assume that the chulun fell into the chulun and the truma. Mathematically, does that make sense? No, that's not the point. The point is that since it's a derabban, we'll see. Says more aimer damrino shani oimer. When do we say this verb shani oimer? That's betruma derabbanon. That's only because it's derabbanon. Rashi says it when bisman hazeh truma is only chiv derabbanon, right? But even in Eretz Yisrael, right? So therefore, Therefore, since we're only dealing with derabanan, so it's anyway just a suffix derabanan l'kula, right? So what we say is that we able to make this assumption and say that mistama, it's not really that, it's not a logical conclusion, but it's a halacha conclusion that we say just make believe that the truma fell into the truma and the chulin fell into the chulin and everything's status quo, and that's okay, right? So says the Gemara, but how could you apply that to our case if you have two bundles, one chametz, one matzah in front of the houses, right? Chametz is daraisa. Me, I'm reading. Do we say by chametz daraisa that also you could assume the same thing? Gemara says no again. Atu b'dikas chametz daraisa is b'dikas chametz daraisa. That's derabanan. Why do we do daraisa v'bittul b'al masagid? Right. So the Gemara is establishing here that because we're dealing with bittul, so therefore the b'dikas only derabanan. Right. That's again a smachta Taisis's point that until now we've been assuming the deraisa. We're not, only now the Gemara is saying, clarifying that we're dealing with the derabanan. Okay. Tzavur echad shel chametz. If you have one package of chametz, in front of them there's two checked houses already. And a mouse comes for shakav ilahai. We don't know which house he took it to. That's the case. That's another famous case of shnei shvilin. What's the shnei shvilin? Tanan. Shnei shvilin is two paths, right? Right? You have two paths outside the city. It's not considered in the city. It's considered. It's rishus hayachid, right? Now the halacha is that suffix we learn from Saita that suffix tumah b'rishus harabim is tamei. Suffix tumah b'rishus hayachid is tahor, right? And that we apply to kol Torah. Cool. Anytime you have a shaila of a suffix in tumah, if it's in a private place, rishus hayachid, we're taila lekula. Rishus harabim is lechumra. So these shnei shvilin are rishus hayachid. I'm sorry, I said the opposite. Suffix tumah b'rishus hayachid by Saita. Suffix Saita is aser, right? Idea. B'rishus hayachid is aser. Because a Saita, she does it in private, right? So that's suffix. We don't know if she was Mizan or not. We still say she's Tameh. Suffix tumah b'rishus hayachid is Tameh. Suffix tumah b'rishus harabim is Tahar. Okay. Now, so these shnei shvilim are considered b'rishus harabim. It's in a public area, right? So you have shnei shvilim, echad tamei ve'echad tahar, right? One of them is tahar, and one of them is tamei, right? We know that there is, right? We know that one of them has a kever in there. One of them has a kever buried in one of these shvilin, right? And if you pass over, you'll for sure become tamei, right? We just don't know which one has it, right? So you have two paths. One is for sure Torah, and we don't know. So, and one of them goes in path number one. And then after that, he touches truma. Let's say he touches something that has to be tar. Right now, his friend comes. Right, he goes in the other path, the asatyrus. Right. So now, what comes out of here? One of these paths are for sure. One of these people who went in these paths is for sure tamei, and they both touched truma. They both touched something that's not allowed to be tamei, right? So now, what do we say? What do we do? So, review the Omer. If they were both asked, if they both asked on their own, so tahar mishneim, they're both considered tar. We can give each one a psak. Suffix tumah b'rishus harabim is tar, right? And therefore, you are tahar. And the tires that you touched are tahor. However, b'vasachas, if they come b'vasachas, so then tmein, they're going to be tamei, because we can't give at one time a psak which is contradictory. You can't both be tahor. It's impossible for you both to be tahor, because one of you went in the path that was tamei. So therefore, that's a contradiction, halacha contradiction. So therefore, they come together. It's tamei. Rabbi Eliyahu Omer, no, benkach tmein. Whether they come together or alone, they're tamei. Now Rava explains. Everyone agrees that if they mamish came together, both of them came together, you can't be mitahar both of them. It's impossible. You have to say they're tamei. One after the other, they come separately. One after the divrei kol toharin. What's this machlokes tanaim in a much smaller case? He comes and he wants a psak for him and his friend. So the other guy is not here. Right? So it doesn't look as much like a contradiction. One guy comes and he asks me, am I tahor? So we give him, right? So Rabbi Yossi thinks it's the same thing. Doesn't make a difference because you're asking for your friends. Like you're coming together. So Rabbi Yossi says the same thing as Zechar Zeh. Why? Because we just have to give you a psak, and then you'll understand that your friend is just like you, right? But we really only have to talk to you, right? And we're telling you you're tahor, and you understand on your own that obviously your friend is the same exact halacha, so you go tell him, right?
But if he says you're tahor, then you might say, okay, my friend
must be tummy.
Someone, one of us is going to be tummy.
Right, but that's how Rashi explains that he'll assume, he should assume. Right. Maybe we hinted to him, or whatever. We don't say beferish. The point is we're not saying with, at one point in our mouth, you're both tahor. No, you're tahor. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Your friend's also tahor. Right. Because, right now, Taisus explains that really everyone agrees. Is that midiraisa, even if they both come at the same exact time, you're tahor. Because otherwise, I guess Taisus doesn't understand. How could you have it separately? It doesn't make a difference if it's separately, if it's together. Taisus says this whole thing is a rabbinic issue. No, he said even Rabbi Yossi would hold that they're both tahor midiraisa. Midrabanan, we say you can't. Right. Midrabanan, we say we can't give a contradictory psak, and therefore you're tummy. But Taisus wants to say that even midaraisa, because suffix to Rosh Hashanah is tar, so you both tar midaraisa. Even if it's contradictory, it doesn't make a difference. That's not the way the Torah doesn't. It's a halacha conclusion the Torah allows, whether it's contradictory or not. That's what Taisus says, right? So
therefore, you don't have to check the houses again, more than houses, because both.
Right. So when you apply it to our case, right? So it's a suffix, right? And over here it's a suffix lakula because it's b'dikas chametz, which is a drabban. So it's similar that it's a suffix lakula. Now, but if
the house itself is
right, it's Rosh Hashanah, but over here we're dealing with b'dikas chametz, which is drabban. Right. The question is let's say they both come in front of you together.
Right.
Like if one guy comes to us, so of course, right. If they both come together, so the Gemara is saying it would be dependent on this, right? L'chayra, it should be a similar case. But Rashi says that even over here we would be mekel because it's a derabanan. So for sure we would be mekel and be able to tell both of them together that you're taught, right? Okay, next case. Suffix al, suffix loy al. You don't know, you saw the achbar take something, and you don't know if he brought it to the house at all. You don't know if he brought it to the house. Do I have to check the house now? So Gemara says, bika, that's the kind of bika, that's the case of bika of the field. What's the case of the field? If someone walks into a bika, in the winter time when the bika is considered a rishus hayachid. In the summertime, it's dry. People walk around there. It's considered rishus hayachid. In the wintertime, it's when it's raining. It's considered rishus hayachid. So suffix tameh is awesome, right? It's tameh. V'tumah v'sadeh plain. So we know now a bika is a stretch of land which contains many fields, right? So you walked into a bika. We know that tumah is in one of the fields. You don't know which field you walked into. You know you went to the bika. You don't know if you went to that field. Right. So what's the halacha? Do we say your tummy tonight, or do we not say your tummy? I went to that area of fields. I walked through it, but I don't know if I actually went into that field or not. So Rabbi Elazar is mitahir. He's mitahir. What does he say? He says, "Look, it's like he explains." Rabbi Elazar mitahir v'chom Shahir Rabbi Elazar. Elazar says, "Suffix bia tahar." If you're not even sure if you walked into there, you're going to be tar. Safik maga tuma tame. If you know you for sure touched it, you just don't know. You know it's for sure it's tame. You're safik whether you touched it or not. So then you're tame. Basically, what Lazar's saying, it's a sfek fake over here. I don't even know if I walked into the right place, right? Even if I walked into the right place, I might not even touch the actual kever, right? Chacham are more machmer, right? Chacham say no, you might have went in, so it's considered one safik, and therefore you might have touched tumah safik tumah. So the Gemara is saying so over here. right? We are not sure whether or not this achbar went into the house or didn't go into the house. So Rabbi Eliezer would say you're tahar, right? He's mekel, and he's saying you don't have to assume it ever went in, right? And the chachamim that are machmer would be machmer and say no, you have to assume that maybe went in, right? That's the case here. Safek al, safek lo al. Right. Okay. Let's say now the next case is al ubadak. You saw. Right. That's Rashi says. Rashi says.
Even the thumb, we understand why.
Right. But I think Taisvis. Give me just a second. No, never mind. No, I think he's. Oh, Taisus asks. He asks what shaykhs. He just asks a question. He says what shaykh is bika over here. Even if there's only one suffix, you could always go by cheskas badik. There's a chazaka that is checked, right? So yes, we have a suffix where they came in, suffix where they didn't come in. Where you have a chazaka that is checked. So therefore, you should always be able to go by chazaka. Right. So now. Right, but you see, they're mekel, right? Even Rashi says, even for the you should be mekel. Okay, good. Next case, alu badak v'lei ashkach. The achbar went in. He for sure went in. You check now for the chametz and you don't find it. What do? You can't find it. So plug is Rav Meir Rabbanan. That's a machlekes Rav Meir Rabbanan. Now we had this in Masechta Nida. Here Rav Meir Rabbanan called Davar shebecheskas tuma la'olam hu b'tumasa. Anything that has a cheskas tuma is always going to be considered tamei until you actually find the tuma and extract the tuma. What's the case? The case is you have a gal tamei rashi. Let's say you have piles of stones, and you know under one of them is a dead body. Under one of them there's tuma, or sharets, or whatever, right? So now you want to make sure you want to know which one is which, right? To be able to go there and not become tamei. So what do? You check, right? Let's say you check and you can't find it, right? So Rav Meir says, too bad. There's a cheskas tuma here. You can't find it. It's considered tamei. Chachamim no. You check it until you get to the rock underneath. Meaning, go through it. Dig down. Dig down until you find a rock. You know, there's nothing under the rock. It's a solid rock. Or you find, or till there's virgin earth, meaning earth that was never moved. You know, there's nothing here. It was never moved, right? So therefore, you know there's no tumah there. Chachamim say once you checked. You could assume that the tumah is going how it go, however it happened. But the point is, I checked and I can assume it's fine. Rav Meir says no, you have to check, right? Rav Meir says until you find it, it's not going to help, right? So too over here, you know the achbar went in, right? So therefore, Rav Meir says you have to check, right? And so that's Taisus asked. So what do you mean? What is it according to Meir? What do? You move out for Pesach. I checked. I want to check again. I'll check again. I don't find it. Taisus says that we're talking about without bittul. The idea is here without bittul, right? We'd say you have to keep on doing bidika. Avada Meir says you don't have to move your house, you move out of your house for Pesach. Just do bittul. Once you do bittul, you're okay. We allow that, right? The question is if we would not do bittul, Meir would say no, you have to keep on checking. Chacham would say no. Once you check, you're fine. Right. Right. Exactly. You check again, but then if you can't, you do bittul. Exactly. No, you tell you to check again, you know, but because and midrabanan is a chiv bedika always. Right, exactly. We'll see. We'll have this case in a second, but alu bodak v'ashkach. Next case is if you saw the achbar go, he went into the house and he actually found a piece of bread. You found the bread. The question is can you assume that is the piece of bread that the achbar went in? That's a plug to every Rashbag, the Tanya. Sada shenever bekever, if you have a field that a kever was lost in there, so anichl l'saycha tamei. Someone who walks into that sadeh is tamei. Nimtza bekever, right? If you found the kever and you make a sign there, whatever. Now you located the kever, right? So anichlas seicho, you go into a field, now you're tar, meaning as long as you don't touch that kever that you already located, right? The point is that we know, we have knowledge, we have prior knowledge that there was a kever here. We found a kever here. Can we assume it's the same one, or do we have to assume, no, maybe this is another kever you found, and there's another lost kever somewhere here, right? So that's the machlokes, right? So this is Rosh Bag. He says, so we know there was a kever here. We found the kever, so we can assume that's the one. Divrei Rebbe. No, tibadek. You still have to check the entire field. You still have to check again, right? So you can't just say, oh, I found it, go home. No, you have to keep on checking, right? To by us, right? The same machlokes would be here. According to Rebbe, he said, look, I saw the achbar go in. It's checked. It's a checked house, right? I saw the achbar go in. I found it. Okay, I assume that's the one, right? According to Ashbag says, no, you have to keep on checking the whole house. Maybe this is another piece of bread that you found. Okay. Let's say you left 9 pieces and you found 10 pieces. The opposite of your case, right? You leave 10 and you leave 9 and you found 10. So what do we do with that? So plug the Tanya. It's like this case. You left 1 money of Meiser Sheni money. Hektish money, Meiser Sheni money that you have to go to Yerushalayim and use it, right? What's the time? You found 200 there, right? Money is 100 zuz. You found 200 zuz now. What is that? This thing where it says it's chulin Meiser Sheni Muravan Zebazet Divrei Rebbe. Rebbe says you have to assume it's the first 100 that was there Meiser Sheni, and somehow another 100 came, right? And so it's all a mix of chulin Meiser Sheni. And you have to be mechalal. If you mechalal it now on, you have to extract the kedusha and be paid and put it onto other coins, right? So that you'll know which, and then you'll be able to use the other 200, right? But right now it's mixed. You can't use the chulin.
You assume only 200. Assume that
the new stuff is chulin.
How do you know?
Well, maybe Rav money is chulin. Like, why would you assume that it's Meiser Sheni?
Not according to this Meiser Sheni chest.
Well, maybe if it was in a Meiser Sheni chest, but I guess we assume stam money is going to be assumed to be chulin, but that's not the chiddush here. The chiddush here is that we assume it's the same money, it's the same Meiser Sheni, and more was added, right? And that's why the Gemara is bringing it in here. The Chachamim say no, akol chulin. They say no. It's found 100. He left 100, and now 200. This is a different money. It's different money. The 100 left somehow, and 200 came. You could assume everything is chulin, right? So to over here, you left 9, you found 10. This makes no sense. What happened? So according to Rebbe, he'll say taka. No, it's another one came. It's the same 9. It's the same 9, right? And just another one came, and you're okay. You're good. Get rid of this chametz, and no problem. According to the Chachamim, they say no. This is new. This is new chametz. All 10 is new chametz because you left 9 and now it's 10. What happened over here? Must be the 9 got lost. You have to go check your house now because for the 9, this that you have 10 here, that's new chametz. Right? The chacham over here end up being a chumrah. Right? Now, how about the opposite case? You only found 9. Now, this is not the case where you hide it and you can't find it. Right? The case over here is you left 9 on the table and now 1's gone. Right? So hainu sefer. That's the sefer of that price. At the Tanya, right? The opposite case where you left 200 zuz and you found only 100 zuz. So Rebbe holds the same thing. He says, look, you start off with 200 zuz of Meiser Sheni, and now you have whatever's here is considered Meiser Sheni. 100 got lost, whatever. But this is the 100 at least is half of what was here before. They say no, everything's chulin. Because they say again, they hold it's all new, right? It's all new. So therefore, right? So regarding b'dikas chametz, right? So the same thing, right? So according to right, according to Rebbe, right? He says, I guess you'd have to check for that one piece, right? You only have to check for one piece. According to the Rabbanan, you have to check for all 10 pieces, right? All 9 pieces, whatever. All 10, right? You left 9 and you found. If you left 10 and you found 9 only, right? So according to Rebbe, okay, 1 fell away. Now go find it. Find 1 and you're good. According to Chacham, no, it's all new. So therefore, you have to look for all 10. Okay. Next case. You left chametz in one corner of the house, and you found it in another corner of the house. So that's a plug drash bag v'rabbanan. The Tanya, kardum sha'avad. Let's say you have a shovel. Kardum shovel. You lost a shovel in your house. Sha'avad b'bayis. Now habayis is tummy. We assume the bayis is tummy. Why? Shani omer. Because I say you have no idea where this went. There's no cameras, but I have to assume shani omer adam tummy nichnas l'shem tali. It must be a tummy person came and took it and took the shovel. Therefore, a tummy person was here. He came, right? He touched everything in the house.
Somebody came and you're just afraid that
maybe it's a tummy person, and he touched different things in the house. Now everything maybe is a tummy in the house, right? Taisa says other places we say that maybe we assume no, it was a tahar person, right?
yeah. So what?
So it says it's gzeira. Gazru al safek kalim. We're geyser on kalim more than food. By food we say maybe it was a tahar person. By kalim we say it was a tummy person. I'm not sure exactly, but the point is that that's the price. You have to assume it's a person came in, maybe it was tummy, and probably touched different things because you obviously know you have to count this. Where did the shovel go? It must be someone here was here and took it. No, habai is tahar. Why shani omer ishiloi la'acher v'shachach? No, chat is you lent it to someone, you just forgot, right? You don't have to make your whole house tummy now. Or shenatle mizavizu v'niach mizaviz acheres. Or the pshat is you took it from one corner and you left it in another corner, and then you forgot about it. So we're talking about corners over here. We're talking about a case where you can't find the shovel anymore, right? The shovel's gone. So what do you mean you found it here? What are you talking about? Really is another case here. This is the way the Bryce goes. If you have a shovel that got lost in the house. Again, another case is you left the shovel in this corner, right? Not a case where the shovel's gone. The shovel's here, right? But it's in a different corner. So then say the chacham habai is tummy in both cases. Right? In that case also, how the shovel got from here to there must be a person came, moved it. Maybe it was tummy, right? He says no. Right? The bias is always targets. Either we say you forgot and you lent it out, therefore no tummy person came in, or you really moved it and you forgot. Big deal. People forget. So too over here, you find chametz in this place. We don't assume this chametz is gone and that's new chametz. And another person came. Someone from outside came, right? Right? And moved and put new chametz over there, right? According to Chacham, we would say a guy from outside came, put more chametz here. I left the chametz over here. How to get from there to there, right? You can't just assume it was that one. It has to be an external. Chacham would say, right? Yes, you have to be chayshish. An external person came and moved it, or brought new chametz, right? According to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, right? He says you could just assume you moved it and you forgot. Okay. Right. If you have little kids, you're saying that maybe they moved it. Also, this is what Rashi says. The way that according to Rabbanan, maybe it's the Chachamim hold that maybe a person came and moved it, right? So also over here we have the achbar moved it, children or the achbar moved it, right? The cave and the chayshish and the achbar, since we're chayshish for an achbar, right? So therefore yesh lochush nami that lo yizehu. Once we're saying there was an achbar here, so then maybe the achbar ate that one and brought another one, or moved that one and brought another one, and that one is still around, right? So once according to Chachamim, you have to bring the achbar into the picture, right? So you can't just assume this is the same one and there's nothing else. There's an achbar here. Maybe he moved that one and he brought another one, right? According to Rabbi Shimon, you just tell that it's the same one. You just forgot. So according to him, you don't have to be chayshish. Okay. Amar Rava. We have just a few more cases. We'll go to the Mishnah. Amar Rava. Achbar nichnas the kikar befiv. If you have to go, it's fine. I'm gonna just finish it to record it. Okay. Okay. So Amar Rava. Achbar nichnas the kikar befiv. You walk into, you see the achbar walk into a house, right? The nichnas acharav, and you walk, and he has bread in his mouth, right? The nichnas acharav umatza pirurim. And you find perurin, right? You find crumbs, right? So now, could you assume that the achbar ate the kikar, and this is all that's left are these crumbs? No problem. get rid of the crumbs, then you're fine. Where it says no, you still tzarich b'dika. You cannot assume that these crumbs are all that's left. Why? An achbar doesn't usually leave crumbs. He eats it fully and doesn't leave crumbs around. And therefore, right, these crumbs are something else, right? And you just have to look for, you still have to look for the achbar's bread. Okay, Rava says, Tinek is different. Tinek is the opposite. Let's say a baby crawls in with bread. You go chase him and what's it prove and you find crumbs, then you do say, you do not need b'dikwa. It is the regular way for a tinek to yes make crumbs. Therefore, you assume yes that he ate it, and this is the place he ate it. This is the crumbs. I see the crumbs. Clean up the crumbs, and you don't have to assume that the bread is somewhere else. BeiRav, achbar nichnas v'kikar b'piv, achbar yoytz v'kikar b'piv. Let's say you're sitting outside, you see a mouse go in with bread and come out with bread. Could you assume that hainu dahai da'al v'hainu dahai da'nafak? It's the same one that went in and went out. Maybe do we have to assume the worst, that maybe he left one piece of bread in there and he took out a different piece of bread and the first piece of bread is still in there. So now the Gemara says, if you say hainu haida, it's the same one. How about achbar lava nichnas kikar b'fiv achbar shachar yaitze? A white mouse goes in and a black mouse comes out. So do you assume, right? Now, hi vaday achrinu. This is for sure a different piece of bread. So you have to be chayshay dilma. Maybe he took it from the other guy. Maybe the white one gave it to the black one, right? So therefore, it's the same piece of bread. Maybe you'll tell me, nah, rats don't take from each other. They don't give to each other, right? You have a mouse goes in, and then a chulda comes out with the kikar, right? So the weasel is much bigger. It stole it from the mouse. It's a different one, right? The imisa, right? Because if she actually took it from the rat, she's gonna eat the mouse also, right? So therefore, why doesn't she have the mouse in her mouth? If you do say that you would assume it's not, because why doesn't she have the mouse in her mouth, and therefore it's a different piece of bread? How about if achbar nichnas v'kikar b'fiv v'chulda yaitza, right? V'kikar v'achbar b'fiv chulda. The case is you found an achbar goes in, right, and the chulda comes out with the kikar, right? But now, no, but what's the shaila? Oh, of course it's the same one, right? No, im isa the ihu nihu, if it's the same one, kikar b'fi achbar mishtakach havabayish takuche. Do we say that the
loaf should have been in the mouth of the dead mouse?
Mouth of the mouse, and the mouse in the mouth of the chulda, right? We would say no, even though the two separate things in the mouth, they're not together. Maybe because the mouse was scared of the chulda, it dropped it, and then the chulda grabbed both of them, but doesn't, right? The bread didn't stay in the mouth of the achor. Teku. Okay, teku. BeiRav, Rav has questions. Kikar b'shmei kaira. If you have, there's a loaf of bread all the way up in the ceiling. There's no access to it. You need to go get a ladder to bring it down. Just be mevatel. The Gemara says, no, we say, chachamim t'chiv b'dika midrabanan. We're not to reach for such a thing. Kevin loy nachis minavshei loy asi l'michla.
It's not going to come down.
It's not going to come down on its own. You're not going to eat it. Just do bittul. Right. I get maybe someone with the ladder came, but you're not going to get a ladder to get the chametz. So it's not coming, right? Sometimes it falls. You might come to eat it. How about a kikar bibar? Right? You have to go. Never. It can't fall up exactly. So you might end up going down there for some reason into the bar. Yes, you might go down for whatever other need you have, and you'll come to eat it. Kikar b'fi and Rashi says it's not contingent on the previous questions. It's really just a new question. Kikar b'fi nachas. Let's say you have a snake in your house that lives in the hole in the house, whatever, and you find, and you see him with the loaf of bread, right? So tzarich chaver lo yitzir in tzarich. Do you need to hire a chaver. A chaver is a guy who knows a snake charmer, right? Exactly. Or you do not need to hire a snake charmer. Why? And to extract the snake, to extract a piece of bread. Why? Because the gufa hachachor rabbanan. Maybe the rabbis, when they instituted a obligation to check, was only with your body, not that you have to go and hire. But they didn't require you to go and hire somebody to do the bedika, and therefore, since this requires you to hire the snake charmer, you're not or no, maybe not teku. Right, so we're not sure exactly. The Gemara doesn't come out with the maskana, but Taisa says that it's only over here by Nachash where there's also a possibility that the Nachash actually ate it. Right, so therefore we'll be samech and say not. But regularly we talked about a case where people, of course, they in that city they hire people. You know,
cheaper than an exterminator. How they live in those houses? Weasels, mice, and snakes.
I don't know.